It's okay to fail. And this might seem weird, and it's not like an animation topic, but honestly, the biggest thing that you can do as a student that will improve your work and that will get you further ahead faster is to fail. And this might seem contradictory, but you learn so much more from mistakes than you ever do from successes. If you succeed all the time, you will do well, but your knowledge of things is not going to improve as quickly because in the end, you're not going to know what you did that made it succeed. So, for example, if I do make an animation, it works out, all of it's great. What did I do to make it work out? If I'm a total beginner, I don't know. If I've already got experience, well, I know because I've got experience. But if you don't have experience, how can you tell what made it succeed? It just works. And your mentor says, good job. And it's like, yay, thanks. Let me try it again. And you hope you can replicate it. But when you fail, you learn what doesn't work. You're going to figure out that, oh, my spacing shouldn't look like this. It should look like that. Oh, this pose doesn't work because I need to rotate the hips in this way. Oh, this thing doesn't work because of so and so. You learn the reasons why things don't work, which means that now you know the reasons why it should work. So the more you fail, the more you learn. And that's okay. We build on our failures. We did it in the last demo stream that I did. Let me actually show this here. And this is a small example, but it applies as well. So let me open up some shots here and then I'll share my screen. Was this the right one? Okay. So we were doing some facial animation tests last week. So this was the facial animation test. And the first pass we did, it's right near the end here. We had this overly complex facial movement here. You can see the head kind of comes back, pauses, and then twists right here at the end, right there. And it didn't work. It wasn't feeling good. You can classify that as a failure. If I was to show this to my mentor, for example, if this was an assignment, they might go, nah, that is too complex. It doesn't work out. Well, we'll classify that as a failure. The reason why it doesn't work out is it's too complex. We just want a quick facial expression change, and this head turn is adding too much in there. So we simplified it, and we ended up with this. Much simpler. You can see there's no pause, there's just kind of a little overshoot, and that's it. But it reads so much better because of it. We made a mistake, learned from it, and applied what we learned to improve it. So as you get more experience and as you fail more, you fall into these little things of learning and improving yourself. The key here is that when you fail, you need to analyze why you failed. If you just fail and go, okay, I'm trying again. Why did I fail? Who knows? Let's just go in. And you don't even look and try to figure out why. You're just going to be repeating the same mistakes. Instead, you want to look at it and go, okay, why didn't I succeed? You mark it down. How can I make it work better? Try out, plan it ahead. Think of it and go, okay, I could try this, this, and this. We'll see which one works best. Then you jump in and you succeed. Or you fail and then you go, okay, these two didn't work, but this one did. And you push yourself forward. So don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to not succeed. It is learning. That is the learning process. And the biggest thing with all artists is that we live in an artistic field. We see these amazing end results. You look at Disney films and DreamWorks films and all of these awesome animations, and you've got like Netflix doing all of these cool things with Centaur World and all of their cool shows. And you just look at that amazing stuff. And then you see animators posting stuff online and artists posting stuff online. And so, wow, it's so amazing. But what we don't see is the garbage bin that's filled with scraps that got thrown out, ideas that didn't work, concepts that didn't work. whole storylines and half of a season of a film that was written out and then went, nope, that doesn't work, throw it all out, we're restarting. We don't see that. We don't see the pile of crumpled up paper next to the artist, or all of the undos that an artist will do, that Control Z as they're drawing to just get that one line exactly how they want. That's part of it. That's part of art, is not succeeding, trying to figure out why you didn't succeed, and then improving it. So, very long answer to say, just don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to have a problem, have it not succeed, and then try again. So hopefully that helps. And let me actually catch up with the chat here, because I think some people were mentioning stuff about that. Okay. I learned from regular school that it's not okay to fail. It's such a strange pivoting, switching into animation. Yeah. And honestly, it's okay to fail in real school too. It's one of kind of my pet peeves of most schooling systems, is that from a young age, you are always taught that you shouldn't fail. That if you fail, well, you're a failure, you're labeled as that, and that's a bad thing. Yes, technically failing is not good, in the sense that you didn't pass, you might not have learned the things you needed to learn, but it's there to narrow down the things that you still need to work on. If you didn't succeed in some equations on math, well, why? What do you need to focus on? And to me, like, as a mentor, as a teacher, one of the things I love most about my job is when a student is having trouble with something and I'm able to jump in and help them on that specific thing that they are struggling with. Not just reciting a course and giving like just a, yeah, this is how you do it, and then, oh, you're failing, well, tough, you don't understand. No, diving in and going in and helping them, figuring out what it is that they need to make it all make sense. So it is okay to fail. It is okay to not succeed at things. As long as you don't give up and as long as you keep trying again, you're going to do it eventually. So what are workflows? Ooh, that's a good question. Workflows are just ways of approaching animation so that we can make sense of our reference and block in the shot, put in our poses in a way that makes sense and it's not just random throwing things in. The workflow is how we approach creating the animation. Now, I could go into a whole demo on workflows and different ones here, but instead I would actually just recommend you check out this video from Sir Wade. He posted it yesterday. It shows all the different workflows and explains a little bit about the process and the thought that goes into each one and why we would want to use one workflow versus another. It's a fantastic video. I highly recommend everyone check it out. This is the double-edged sword of feedback, or asking for feedback, is that if I ask someone for feedback, and this applies to a studio, it applies to when you're in animation school, it applies to anywhere. If you ask someone for feedback and they give you feedback and you apply it and it makes your shot worse, you as the animator should not go to that person and go, you gave me bad advice, that's terrible, why did you do that? They gave the advice based on what they knew at the time and what they thought the intent of the shot was. If it goes against your intent or if it makes your shot worse, you as the animator, the one who is creating this shot, can choose not to follow the advice. It's just because you received advice doesn't mean you have to put it in unless the person is your director or supervisor. If it's just another animator or just someone else, you don't have to apply it. That's it. So if you choose to apply and go, hey, it's stuck like this now and it's all your fault, no, that does not fly in the animation industry. If you're at a studio, no one's going to accept that. As an animator, we need to learn, and this is a good skill to have, is learning what advice is going to help improve our shot, which one is not going to improve our shot, or which one's going to take away from our intent of the shot. And we should be, I guess you could say, we should be forthright enough to admit that if it didn't work, that's on us, and we need to just try again. That's it. That's all it comes down to. So yeah, it's your choice to implement, not their fault for giving the advice. Exactly. You're the one who's choosing to implement it. If you don't want to, say it. Now, then, just because we're on this topic, another key point here is if you choose to not implement their advice. Let's say I ask someone for advice. They'll give me a whole bunch of notes, and then I go, I don't really think that's the right idea for the shot. It's not gonna work. So I don't implement any of it. What I shouldn't do is then come back to that same person and go, hey, can you give me more advice? And just like that. Because they'll look at the shot and go, wait, you didn't apply any of the things I already said. Why should I bother giving advice to you? Like, what do you want me to say? Do the same things I told you already. You need to give the context. You need to either go, okay, that's their opinion. I'm going to ask someone else because they have a different vision than what I have. Or if you do have to ask that person again, you come up and tell them, hey, I tried your advice. It didn't really work. And then you have to be specific. I'm trying to go for this feeling instead. This is the goal that I'm going for. That gives them the context to go, oh, I get it. The feedback I gave you, it wasn't right. So let me give you some new feedback based on this new information. If you just go, here, look at my shot again, and nothing's being incorporated and that's it, you're just making a bad name for yourself. It's just not good. So be clear, be specific, and especially if you're asking the same person, be respectful of them and let them know why. That's the big thing. So just something to be very wary of. I see this happen a lot in even professional environments where people will just keep asking the same feedback over and over, but they never apply any of the previous feedback, and they never give a reason why they didn't apply the previous feedback. So it reaches a point where, especially like a director or something, or supervising animator, especially if it's supervising animator, will just go, just do it, and that's it. Don't come back to me. And that gives you a bad name if the supervising animator director has to tell you that. Of just like, do your job.